From dramas to webtoons to novels, explore Korea's story with us. This is Who Reads Story. My name is An Sung-jin. I'm a news reporter, and here we have Andrea back with us again. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. Well, I'm from Colombia. I'm a historian and an English teacher, and right now I'm studying my master in Hanguk Munhwa, that is Korean culture. So, well, good to be here today.
And I always want to mention that you were a part of the book club because I feel like that always matters for our content. But anyway, today we will be talking about a drama that has captured both the Korean and international audiences, which is called the Typhoon Family.
Yeah.
What I feel like the title kind of gives off what it might be talking about. What was it like for you when you watched this drama? What do you think about it?
I think that just with the title, like if you don't know anything about what it's going to be,
right.
So probably with the title is like, okay, typhoon,
right,
a disaster,
typhoon, right.
So like what is going to happen here? Yeah, what is going to be kind of like the drama,
right?
But in this case, I think like it haven't finished. But for now, it's like, I want to just continue watching it. Like, it's really good. I think that you are going to find a really gem, like, if you watch it.
Right. I guess it captures a lot of aspects. But, you know, in order for our viewers who may have not watched it to give a brief summary of how it actually goes through, the background itself is set during the 1997 Asian financial crisis. And Typhoon Family follows a group of young people facing this bankruptcy during the time of a financial crisis at a trading company overnight, which actually refers back to the title because in Korean it's Typhoon Sangsa, and Sangsa means a trading company. So it basically unfolds the story of this young group of people who are trying to face it and showing how they grow and kind of develop over time and how they really tackle this hardship that they're experiencing.
Yeah, like in this case, we have like a great actress that is Kim Mina.
Right.
That like if you watch Pachinko, yeah, probably you are going to remember her. Actually, there is one scene like that she is speaking in English because like later, like in the drama, they are kind of showing a product and she does it like really well. And then it's like, oh, okay, so you can see that hair is like really good.
Right.
And maybe you can remember Pachinko with that too. And then we have like the male character.
The main lead, right.
Yeah, in his case, he's Lee Jung-ho. That, well, like many people like him and how he's acting and actually kind of natural. The aura that he has.
Right. And I feel like, you know, on top of the great acting from both characters, within just 2 weeks of airing, the show surpassed 9% viewership rating, and it has reached #1 on Netflix Korea and entered the #5 among the non-English shows globally. And I feel like, you know, some of these aspects that we've just kind of talked about show why this drama has gathered so much of an audience, and we will be looking in depth into it today. Which is, again, great to have you here again, Andrea. Now, as I mentioned, you know, the background is set place in 1997 when Asia is going through this financial crisis. And since you're from Colombia, we kind of have to jump around continents. Have you heard of it before?
Yeah, I mean, I was born in the 90s, so I didn't live that. But like, I know that this crisis, it was really hard in Asian countries. Right. So Indonesia, Thailand, even Hong Kong.
Right, most actually Asian countries.
And also Korea.
Right.
And we can see that through the drama, like in real life, like there was a collapse like in the economy.
Right.
So a lot of people lost their jobs, and then we are seeing that the country was like in a turmoil, and then somehow it was like after a natural disaster. So I think that that's why also we can connect it with the title a little bit of the drama.
Right, exactly. It kind of has the metaphor of typhoon as well. But just as you mentioned, 1997 and the financial crisis was a big event for Korea, and it also kind of shaped Korea's modern history.
Exactly.
At the end of 1997, you know, Korea, their foreign exchange reserves have actually exhausted.
Bless you.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. And they had also requested a bailout from the IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund. So that's when Korea has been gaining a lot of help from outside of the country. Over 1 million people lost their job. As you mentioned, it was a difficult time economically. And citizens even donated, you know, they had this whole gold collection campaign to pay off debt. Back then, it was said that people had even sold off, you know, their golden tooth, their watch, some of these small things have also contributed to the gold campaign, the gold collection campaign, and that period was when a lot of Koreans got together to kind of overcome this financial crisis and the difficulties.
Actually, in the drama, that thing that you just mentioned regarding people, I'm not sure, but somehow when you think about Korea, you can think also about community.
Right.
And then this sense of community, of helping each other. So it's not just about myself, it's also about like everybody. And then you can see that on how Korean citizens just decide we are going to give the things that we have for the country kind to overcome what happened. And in the drama it's really nice because we are seeing some people just going with their rings, with some things that they have, to give it for the country be able to pay back.
It's almost like that, this phrase of sharing is caring.
Yes.
For then, a lot of Koreans sharing these small things really meant that I'm also helping out the country to overcome all these difficulties. And obviously, as we've just mentioned, even though this drama has the background of the financial crisis, there are other dramas that talk about that period as well. For example, the well-known, in Korean, we say the 응답하라 series. It's the Reply series. And,
I watched those.
Have you watched all the series?
Yeah.
So that time frame also reflects the financial crisis. And there is this memorable line, which I'd like to read out. Like a lie, the country collapsed. Overnight, Korea fell from an Asian tiger to a worm. Our brilliant Generation X became a cursed class. This is from Reply 1994. And as you just mentioned, most of the countries alongside Korea in Asia had seen, economic turmoil. Korea back then was kind of rising as this Asian tiger, but 1997 and the financial crisis was a difficult time for the country.
I think it's really interesting because, for instance, in my country, Korea has been an example, as an economic example.
Showing economic development,
because of the Han River Miracle.
Yes.
And then, when you are talking about Asia, you talk about the Asian tigers and how the development was just so huge.
Right.
But then with this crisis, a lot of things change.
Right.
So in the drama itself, I think that is really vividly how we can see
it portrays it.
Yeah, how everybody, so it was not just some, how everybody kind of go through difficult times, and how the country somehow crumble suddenly because it was unexpected. It was not something that was happening through time. It was just kind of a hit.
It just happened,
Yeah, and then in the drama, you can also, just in the first episode, when one of the characters, we are going to talk more about that later, but there are some people watching television and then they are watching the news report of, what happened and which one are the reactions. And then in this story, there are a lot of signs of how the crisis impacts their the families, the Korean families, the normal life. And there are a lot of scenes that show this. There is one in which the main character just arrived home, and then there is no lights, and he wonders what's happening, and then the telephone is not connected, and then
there's no electricity.
But later he just find out, so the phones are not connected because it's for avoiding those people that are calling because of that. So, and then later, just with the candles, they kind of so we are going to continue with our lives even we don't have electricity. And then later in Christmas, it was kind of hard because they are he arrived with a cake. He wants to have a good time with his mom, despite of the circumstances, not just in the country, but with his family. And he cannot celebrate because some people are just putting them out of the house and they need to move and they don't have a place to stay and there are no people there to help them. So just with those scenes, you can just see that they are showing how people struggle.
Right, it is really heartbreaking to see those scenes. I mean, just as you mentioned, Typhoon Family does capture those moments of, despair perhaps, or really the reality of how it was like to live during the financial crisis. But, apart from this drama that we're talking about as well, many works portrayed how dreams were crushed and how the loves, how spending time with your loved ones was really difficult. But what I do find impressive about Typhoon Family is that, it doesn't only talk about this entire time frame as a difficulty or a crisis with despair, but it also kind of talks about how, people overcome these difficulties. And their tagline kind of says, it was the times that collapsed, not me. So I feel like that phrase itself shows that, even if the time frame is such, economic difficulties prevail, but it's not me that's going to collapse as well. Yeah. I feel like,
that one is a really good summary because you can see how the drama portrays how people resist and at the same time how people overcome the obstacles and continue with their lives.
Right, despite all these challenges.
Exactly.
And so now we've talked about the background and the brief theme of the drama itself, but now I do want to delve in deeper into the characters that we've briefly talked about in the introduction. Now we have the main character, Kang Tae-pung, obviously played by Lee Jun-ho. He starts out this very carefree youth, coming from a very affluent family. Back then in Korean, we call it 압구정 오렌지족. They kind of suggest, as I just mentioned, rich family, carefree, stress-free type of kid. And then we obviously also see his character development over time throughout the drama. And I think that's also an interesting point to watch.
Yeah, I think that, when I saw it at the beginning, I was like, okay, he looks like a K-pop idol.
Right.
But then it's like, well, the actor actually
Which is true.
Yeah. So it's like, if you haven't listened to 2 p.m., so it's something that you can do. And then you can see him in another kind of
different scenario.
Scenario. But then in the drama, it's really nice because at the beginning we are seeing this guy that is just so carefree, but he just suddenly lost his dad. And we see that he cannot cry. He has a difficult time showing his feelings and kind of carrying with the weight of what is coming for his family, for himself, and for the company. And later he just find out more about kind of the relationship with his dad, and we are seeing how he kind of transforms through time.
Exactly.
And that transformation is really nice because I think the drama shows how his personality is not changing really.
Right.
It's more that he is kind of maturing.
Yeah. So we see how his character kind of adds on these different qualities over time as he tries to, tackle these issues that come into life for him. So we've mentioned the male lead, but we also have Oh Mi-sun, who is also a compelling main character. Now she gives up her dream about going to college to support her family, to try to make money, and that's why she joins the company, the trading company, where our main character, Kang Tae-pung, is already working at.
Yeah, with her, with Oh Mi-sun, she has a lot of also kind of phases in the way that at the beginning, they are kind of shooting a kind of, what is the name of this? Advertisement. At the beginning, just at the beginning when the drama starts. And it's like, okay, this looks like The Office.
Right.
And then she is helping with the coffee. But then with time, you just find out that she's really good with numbers.
Right.
And she is a person that is really responsible, that she was really supportive for her boss. And then she really cares about her family. So we are seeing a character that is not just a strong woman, but someone that despite of the difficulties, she wants to help not just her family, but also the people that is around her. And I think that it's really nice that she kind of has her own voice.
Right.
So we are not seeing someone that I don't know, just complains, but it's okay, there is a problem. We are going to tackle the problem. We are going to do something about it. So we are seeing really good characters that are well developed through the drama.
Right. So she not only works hard, but she's also very enthusiastic about her work. And I feel like she has that compassion. You know, it's not just about her family, but it's also about the company itself. And for me, the memorable scene was when Kang Tae-poon was telling her to like properly work at the company. And I feel like that scene is memorable because that really reflects how you just mentioned not only her character as a hardworking, passionate person, but it also reflects the character development of our main character, Kang Tae-poon. What do you think about the chemistry between the two?
I think it's really nice because I don't know, I didn't feel that it was forced.
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay, they are the main characters and
Let's
they
make a romantic
just
lead.
needs to be together just because.
Right.
It was more like, okay, at the beginning when they are in the train and they don't know each other and they just see each other, it's like, okay, what's happening here? But later, you just see that he asked her, can you please teach me how to do this? Can you please like allow me to go here and go with you and like with the other people? And then she cares about him and she cares about the company and she knows somehow that supporting him, it's a way to also kind of deal like with the problems that the company has.
Right.
And I think that somehow like with this idea of helping the company, she just finds out that he's a really good person.
Yeah.
And that actually supporting each other, it's like a nice thing to do.
Right.
And then I think that we can see sometimes she is smiling and kind of seeing that her life also kind of looks better. There's one scene that I just want to mention quickly. Later, like in the drama, they are going to travel abroad. And she doesn't have a passport. And then he goes with her like to the first time, like to have
help
the
her make
passport.
it, right.
And I think that somehow the situation, but also the relationship that they are building together is showing her that she can, I don't know, expand her wings, like kind of like spread like those and continue with her way and maybe fulfilling her dreams in other way also while being beside him.
Right. So what I liked about the two, chemistry, the chemistry between the two leads is that it's not like a love at first sight, I like her because of how she looks. I feel like it really does bring out that character development and each of them both appreciate the quality of the person. She's very hardworking. She tries all these things. She's very knowledgeable about these things. And, those are the things that are the charms that the main leads kind of find out about each other. Just going to quickly check to see if our viewers actually have watched it and maybe if they have their favorite scene. Yeah, I feel like people have mentioned how it shows the warmth of man in the midst of an economic crisis. I think that must be reflecting Kang Tae-poon. And, back in those days, we all hung in there to survive, and I think that really is well portrayed within the drama. And apart from the two male leads, we obviously also have the memorable co-workers that show up within the drama as well. Now, we obviously have the tough but warm-hearted boss who shows up in the trading company. You also have the strict supervisors. You have the shameless ones. You also have that colleague who's like obsessed with the fashions from the 90s. And, the retro office itself, where it has all these main characters, is interesting to watch as well because
the vibe is nice.
The vibe is nice and it really does bring out that 90s, which I feel like adds on to the moments of the 1990s, which we should now start to develop into or dive into a bit more. Now let's talk about how the drama itself really portrays Korea from the 1990s. I've just mentioned that The Office has that 90s retro vibe. Was there anything else that stood out to you?
I think that the first thing for me was like kind of the machines. Yeah, because like we now are in an era that like we have our cell phones all the time.
High tech at its peak.
Yeah, we don't have cell phones and then we just have like, I remember like in Colombia we call it beeper. So,
in Korea they had a similar.
Right. And then we have this atmosphere of the 90s also like with the paper maps. We also have it like with the winter briquettes, like for like winter, like for this being hot at home, like warm. And there were some parts that they also kind of use these aluminum lunch boxes. So all of those details are kind of building also the atmosphere. But there was another thing that I think that maybe a lot of people kind of, I don't know, catch. And it's like this vibe of the beginning of the K-pop. Because like in the 90s, it was kind of the first like groups that were just kind of, okay, we are going to change the world with this music. Yeah. And so even like from the first chapter, we have like a kind of K-pop performance.
Exactly, yeah. So the opening song, the first episode, is actually like a classic 90s hit. It's called 나는 문제없어, which translates to I'm fine. And even within each episode, we see how it's taken from a popular drama of that era. So it's the small details that we can see reflecting the 90s of Korea. And I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's really nice. Actually, I didn't know about the name of the song, so it's like a really interesting thing. But you can also see it like with the fashion, no? Like with the
Especially.
just with the clothes, with the kind of makeup that they were using.
Right.
So it's like, okay, it's not from 80s, it's not 70s, it's okay, it's the 90s.
Right.
And then we have like this vintage denim, like the lipsticks.
Right.
I think that you can see a lot of this, like mainly with all the characters, but a lot with Oh Min-ho, like the sister of our like female like representative, and also with the friend Nammo, because like with they also with the clothes, like in the way that they are interacting with each other. I think that vibe of the 90s is also kind of well developed.
Right, so you mentioned, makeup, fashion. In the beginning, I feel like Kang Tae-poong's hairstyle is also a very signature 90s style, and it does really remind me maybe of my parents in their 20s, and it kind of reflects that era of, the peak like Korean vintage vibe of what we see now. And I feel like the show itself has really done a good job in kind of recreating that vibe of the 90s in Korea, where that time frame really did shape Korea's, pop culture, whether it be fashion, as we just talked about, or music. And it's interesting to see how the show or the drama does that.
Yeah, you feel that you are like traveling through time. That is like, okay, I'm just going to the 90s and I'm just experiencing like how life used to be at that moment,
90s,
30 years ago. Yeah.
Right. So it's interesting to see how it doesn't only cover the financial crisis and it really delves into the despair or the difficulties of these people, but you can also see how it captures and illustrates the fashion, the pop culture, music, all the other details that you could really see from the 90s Korea. Now, so far, all the details, we've talked about the Typhoon Family, the drama, and we've seen how the name kind of is a metaphor. The typhoon and the trading company shows this blast that, these group of young people go through. And really, this drama has been creating a storm of buzz across Korea. What did you think about this episode as we've talked about Typhoon Family?
I think that if you haven't watched it, don't lose the opportunity like to be surprised.
Right, our viewers, watch it.
Because maybe you are going to think that it's mainly about economy and that is mainly about like this office workers and how it's inside of the office. That if you like that kind of like drama is like really nice, but here you are going to find more than that.
More than that, right.
You are going to find also like family relations. You are going to find how people support each other, and at the same time you are going to enjoy, you are going to have fun.
Right.
And I was just also reading some of the comments and some people were just saying like, I'm having fun watching this.
Right,
so
people can have fun watching it. Then who would you recommend it to?
I think that this can be also for like kind of everybody.
Anyone, right? Anyone, everyone.
Yeah, there is not really something that I will say like, oh, maybe for these people.
This group of people.
No, I think that it's a drama that it's well done, that the production is good, that the cast, I think it was like really well done.
Right.
I think that you are going to see people working hard, like also on showing you a great story.
Right.
And in that sense, I think that it can be for everybody.
Right, yeah, that's a good point. So just as Andrea mentioned, for our viewers who may have not seen it yet, I feel like Typhoon Family, the drama, not only provides a good glimpse into the 1997 Asian financial crisis and how people go through this despair and difficulties, both socially but also economically, but also at the same time we see how the drama itself does a good job portraying the pop culture of the 90s in Korea, whether it be fashion, makeup, small details also kind of matter. For our viewers who haven't watched it, you can watch this on Netflix. And I feel like that's all we have for our today's episode on Typhoon Family. Again, Andrea, it is an honor to have you here to talk about it.
And excited for the next chapter. So let's watch that also.
Yeah, so we can look forward to it.
Yes.
And that is all we have for today's Who Reads Story. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, and we will be back with another episode on Korean content for next week. Goodbye!
Thank you.